Congressman, you guys just got done passing the big, beautiful bill. What's your favorite parts in it?
Yeah, this bill is the most pro-growth, pro-worker, pro-family, pro-American bill in a generation. It delivers on everything that President Trump ran on, everything from making the 2017 tax cuts permanent, lowering taxes permanently for working-class families, delivers on no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, makes the child tax credit not only just permanent, but it also does so at an extended and higher level. This bill permanently secures the southern border. One of the things that we now know to be true is that we didn't need a new laws last year. We just simply needed a new president. Well, we want to make sure that when we get another president downrange, they can't do what Joe Biden did, and that is create a crisis at the southern border with the stroke of a pen. So we're giving President Trump the money that he needs to permanently secure the southern border. It was one of the biggest issues I heard back home in my district when I travel around Indiana 2nd District and meet with our law enforcement officials, with our mayors. We knew that every community in this country is a border community under President Biden. That's no longer the case. And we've thankfully given President Trump the money he needs to permanently secure the southern border.
But no, the big beautiful bill is great. It puts jet fuel in our economy, and it's a pro-growth. You know, after NAFTA, 95,000 businesses left our country and devastated rural America. I have a very rural district, and you drive around, you see empty warehouses, and you ask the locals, what's that? And they say, after NAFTA, all these businesses dried up and they lost jobs. Or in my district alone, Virginia's 5th congressional district, the best district, by the way, we have 7 manufacturers that have been talking with me about bringing their factories to our district. I don't know if they'll all have found, but if they do, that's 7,000 jobs coming back to our country, back to my district.
That's incredibly powerful.
The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act extensions, making them permanent, I think is fantastic. I have heard that we lost out on about $800 billion of investments that businesses would have made if those tax cuts were permanent, but they weren't because we couldn't figure out in 2017 how to make them permanent. Now we have, and I think that's a phenomenal thing. Being a Texas member, the 2 things that stand out the biggest for me, in addition to the tax cuts being extended, is the support for Homeland Security to protect our border. I think that is phenomenal. It goes to show that we did not need a brand new bill. We just needed an administration with a backbone to be able to enforce our laws. And within 30 days, Homeland Security with Kristi Noem and Tom Hellman had done just that. We need to make sure they have the resources to continue it. And the second thing for Texas is our American energy producers. In getting, pulling back on so much of the just damaging regulations that were strangling them. We're not decreasing our need for energy in this country, we're increasing it, and we need to make sure that we've got the energy to keep up.
It's such a good point because these fossil fuels, they're the greatest invention of mankind. I mean, they've allowed all of us to live better than kings.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
incredible, and Democrats are all against it, just like they were against extending the tax cuts. Pete Hegseth is doing in the military. He's cleaning it up. He's getting rid of all this woke stuff. And as he's been doing that, we've been seeing the recruitment numbers increasing. Do you think there's a correlation there?
There's no question. I'll tell you what's in the DNA of the American people. And I've had a chance, I've been around long enough to see it. I grew up at a time, my dad was a World War II vet. My first exposure to white Americans was when I was 16 years old. So it was a segregated community, but we were a very hopeful community. We felt that through merit, by hard work, we can command respect from anybody. And every community felt the same way. That's where we are right now. We have a commander-in-chief that has very high expectations for us. And he's putting together a remarkable team. The P is one of them. Pete gets what the American dream is about. He knows that we need to get our kids really excited about our country again. And you're right, it's something within us. Up until I was about 9th grade, I wanted to be a Marine because my dad was part of that process. But the bottom line is, if we start thinking that way, then in our mind comes the idea of service. When you start thinking about patriotism, putting your heart over your hands over your heart when the flag flies, speaking well of your country and your fellow men, that's when we the people become truly one. And I'm glad to see it's happening. It feels good, and we just got to keep it going for sure.
We began to see those recruitment numbers go up the moment President Trump got elected.
That's right.
Just the fact that they knew he was coming was a tremendous win. And then what Pete Hegseth has done to bring back what he calls the warrior ethos is tremendous. I mean, those are the kind of people who you want serving in the military, and those are the people who we should be serving in the military. The people who are going to, stand strong and stand on that line to protect the values that this country was built upon. And ultimately, if you're going to pay that kind of price, you want to know that you're doing it for an important reason. You know, the Biden administration, especially, it turned it into such just a social reengineering project. And, you know, if you're going to have to go into battle, you go in with a clear mission. We make sure they have everything they need for victory, and then we bring them home and take care of them when they're done. And so that's what it should be, and that is appealing to people. They want to be a part of that.
So one of the big issues that everyone's talking about is getting men out of our daughters' sports. I've done a ton of polling on this. It's not just an 80-20 issue anymore. It's more of a 90-10 issue. Yet every Democrat voted against protecting our daughters' sports this cycle or this session. Do you think there's any hope that a handful of Democrats will start joining over and helping us protect girls' sports, or they just totally lost on it?
I think at some point somebody is going to have to stand up and say, hold it. We're just not going to stand for this anymore. But that person has not showed up at this point. So I'm a girl dad.
Yes, sir.
3 daughters,
Very
all
good.
participated in interscholastic sports. And the thought of men taking their place on the sports team. In fact, there's a local woman up where I live in northern Wisconsin. She referees volleyball all the time. And she said, I am done refereeing if boys show up on the court. And that's what it's going to take. And that is what's happening.
Yes.
Is people are saying, whether it's Riley Gaines or others, are saying enough.
Yes. Democrats, the whole Democratic Party basically voted against the Women and Girls in Sports Act.
Yeah.
What's wrong with them? Do you think they're ever going to come around on this?
I think the Democrats are so smitten with their ideological far left Marxism that they cannot lead the tea leaves. They are voting, like you said, at the least it's an 80-20 issue. Open borders, I think that's an 80-20 issue. I mean, they just keep doubling down on losing strategies and let them do it. I mean, their show people are AOC and Miss Crockett from my state. I mean, let them keep talking, talking their smack and their racism, basically. Americans want to pull together. And I think you're going to see America return us to the majority in the midterms and go against history, because the Democrats continue to double down on stuff like men and women's sports.
Texas was just in the news at the Supreme Court, Free Speech Coalition versus Paxton, where the Supreme Court ruled that Texas is totally constitutional in their pursuit to protect minors from adult websites online by requiring age verification. Do you think there's any hope that we can get a vote on age verification nationwide in Congress?
I would love to see that happen. I can tell you that I would certainly support that. I would sponsor that in a second. And I hope that happens.
Very good.
That's all I can tell you.
What else are you working on? What do you got you fired? I mean, you are the hardest working member in Congress. So what are you working on right now?
I got a great team. I couldn't do it without them. And that's part of being a leader, right? Putting the right people together on the team. But one of the things I'm working on is I was talking to President Trump about it. I said it's kind of hard to be a socialist if you own something. Because, you know, socialism and communism takes all your property away. And the percentage of young people owning houses or properties is way lower today than it was just 5 years ago. And so it's trending in the wrong direction. So I think that what the government could do is we can create incentives. For example, if I create the right incentives, you'll move your factory from Canada to the United States. If I create the wrong incentives, you'll move from the United States to Canada. So we're looking at some incentives that we can make that can incentivize first-time buyers, you know, and make sure it's legal, ethical, and moral. So we're looking at some ideas to do that.
Very good. All right, I got some fun questions for you, so just play along. What is your go-to McDonald's order?
I don't do too much McDonald's, to be honest. Gosh, what would I like? I guess a double cheeseburger.
Yep, you get fries.
What, a double quarter pounder and cheese, is that what they call it?
Okay, you can't make fun of me and don't judge.
I won't judge.
Okay, my go-to is a hamburger Happy Meal.
Oh my gosh, no, they have the new toys now. They have the Lil
No,
McDonald's.
do it for the toys. They've always had the toys. My kids had much better toys back then. In fact, they had like this it was when Peter Pan came out. Back then they had little pieces that had characters and little rollers, and you could put all of them together and get a big ship. It was the coolest thing ever. But I like hamburgers, and then you can get the apples. Yeah, so.
My go-to McDonald's order, when I go, of course, you know, I'm trying to be healthy.
I'm going less and less every day.
As my metabolism isn't what it used to be. But I would say just the double cheeseburger,
It's a solid.
I'd rather get a few of those than something real fancy.
That would be for breakfast. It would be a sausage McMuffin. That's my go-to breakfast sausage McMuffin. Although I've kind of started to like the McGriddles a little bit.
Man.
I had a sausage McGriddle here about 10 days ago. I was on the road and we pulled in, grabbed a sausage McGriddle, and it was absolutely glorious. I got to tell you.
My wife says that my blood pressure is too high, so I can't have those anymore. So I've been curbing those back.
Over the weekend, did a little running, got a little exercise. You got to earn those extra calories.
Yes,
from
sir.
McDonald's.
All right, I got 2 fun questions for you. What is one band that every American should listen to?
Oh my goodness. A band.
Or musician?
Okay. I'm an Earl Clue guy, and many people have no idea what that is. What is Earl Clue? It's kind of, can't think of it anyway. I will say this: when I'm working out, I put on Donna Summers and the Pointer Sisters, which is way before your time. But it's old disco stuff. So when I do my workouts, I got my music. That's things I listen to.
Donna Summer, that's
Donna
great.
Summer. So
All right, last question. What is your go-to McDonald's order?
it is always my fish sandwich, my fries, and an orange drink.
My man.
That is my McDonald's all the time. The fish is supposed to be a little bit more healthy. At least I can biff my
Oh, that too. Yeah, that's right. All right, 2 fun questions for you, so play along. What is one American band or musician that every American should listen to?
Oh, the Allman Brothers.
Yes, sir.
Whipping Post.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
if you don't have that in your playlist, then you do not have a full cadre of songs from the Great American Songbook.
Oh my gosh, that is the best answer we've gotten so far. Thank you for saying that. Last question. What's your go-to McDonald's order?
My go-to McDonald's order?
Yep.
I go with the Big Mac when I go there. I mean, that's their signature.
That's their signature. That's right. That's what I get.
But you got to remember, in Wisconsin, we go to Culver's.
Oh, you know what? I should have. And I will say Culver's is better than McDonald's. I go to Culver's every time I'm in the Midwest, anywhere I can get to it. So thank you, Congressman Tom Tiffany. Thank you so much for joining the Terry Schilling Show.
Good to join you, Terry.
Thank you.